And welcome to Parramatta Stadium for the second semi-final of the Channel 10 Challenge between North Sydney and Canberra. Now, the winner of this clash goes into the cup final on Wednesday night. Also here at Parramatta Stadium against the Penrith Panthers. In their first round and quarter-final matches, North defeated Manly and Newcastle, and the Canberra side beat Illawarra and Balmain.
Rex, two solid wins those by North, two to get themselves into the semi-final. I wonder if the fairy tale is going to continue and maybe repeat the performance of the Steelers who climbed into the cup final last year against the Brisbane Broncos. Peter Sterling, is it going to continue?
I doubt it, Graham, but I must admit I have been pretty impressed with the way North Sydney have stuck in those two wins. They're a better-looking outfit, and certainly with Pat Jarvis coming in, they do have that bit more experience and firepower up front.
Well, how do you go about stopping Canberra?
Well, I think you have to capitalise on any mistakes that Canberra make. We saw Penrith do that particularly well against West the other night, and I just think you have to take the opportunities as they present themselves. All
right, well, let's see the side that's going to try and take those opportunities. MacArthur at fullback, Egan in for Bowstead, French, Florimo, Thompson, Fulliger, Stoden, the forwards of Moore, Smith, Fairley, Toole, Tony Ray is the new skipper, Jarvis, our first look at him this year, and Steve Martin is the coach. Well, Ian Marie, they are lining up against a side that are red-hot favourites.
Graham, so impressive as this Canberra side been, there may be some people who think they only have to run onto the field to win this game of football. I don't think they feel that way at all. They're really enjoying being champions, and they want to keep it that way. The side for you tonight: Belcher, Martin, Meninga, what form he's been in, Daly, Ferguson, O'Sullivan, Stewart is back at half-back, and the forwards Clyde, Coyne, Lance, Lazarus, Collins and Todd. The coach, Timmy Sheens.
Well, it's $70,000 to the loser tonight. For the winner, it's a chance to pick up $200,000 in Wednesday night's cup final. Will it be North? Will it be Canberra that meet the Penrith side? Well, we'll be back after the break for the kick-off in the second semi-final live from Parramatta Stadium.
So it's sudden death, and Eddie Ward is the man in charge. Well known to all our Brisbane viewers. Man who had quite a career. Notice the lines on the field here at the stadium looking somewhat like an athletic track. New drainage has just been put in here at the stadium to try and handle what's going to be a lot of traffic in 1990. And it's just starting to progress now after a lot of rain that has fallen throughout February in Sydney. MacArthur to get us underway. Ward signals the time on, and he just waits that in towards the quarter line. Brought back by Coyne. Lazarus. Their forwards played so well against Balmain too last week. Ricky Stewart, who was missing in that match. He plants this one over the head of Thompson. Inside the 5 metres and in front of the kick, Daly and O'Sullivan. So North Sydney to get out of the danger zone straight away.
I think Eddie Ward deduced that O'Sullivan had gone downtown there, had gone down way in front of the kicker, and I think that was mainly the reason for the penalty.
So, they get about 40 out. Tony Ray. Jarvis. A tough job for him in this semi-final. Toole. Been one of their best right throughout the Challenge Cup. Now they've got it to 40 out from the Canberra line, and right in midfield, left or right, Ray decides the kick in behind Johnny Ferguson's wing, rolling towards touch, just doesn't get there, and Ferguson does just ahead of the North Sydney defence. And the last remaining area on the ground that is covered in sunlight. Carey. Should say Wayne Collins. Of course, Collins there for Steve Walters, who was involved in that incident last week with Bruce Maguire.
Yeah, well, just look at the way he's being held down. There was quite a handful of jumper being grabbed there. The player being forcibly held down. The penalty has gone to the Canberra side. The referee trying to establish early that he's not going to stand him fooling around in the protocol area. Stewart.
Collins threw a couple of dummies. Stewart. Allowed Todd to go without the ball. Coyne to his feet. They switch play. Difficult ball for Clyde to handle. Stewart has kicked through the advantage played all the way down to MacArthur, and Stewart has got him.
There was a good advantage played there by the referee, and the penalty comes from the ensuing play the ball. So that's not a bad bit of football from the North Sydney side. Now, the play the ball area was the second penalty, or the first penalty really, the second infringement by the Canberra side in that area.
So again for touch. Barely. Away from Toole and for Gary Smith. Billy Moore on a short blind side. He busted the tackle of Gary Coyne. Coyne didn't look comfortable trying to make that tackle. In fact, he's just carrying a shoulder at the moment. Last tackle against North Sydney. Gray, little chip away from Belcher, and the deep in goals here a problem for fullbacks at Parramatta Stadium, and Belcher can't get out of there. Good chasing from the Bears.
Yes, a nice little kick there. I think Snowden was the man that put it in. Here's Belcher in the in-goal area. He's absolutely stopped in these tracks there by the North Sydney defence that came up very quick, and Florimo was the first man there.
Peter Sterling, they are a great advantage to the attacking side of the in-goals here at Parramatta.
Well, I don't know about that, Graham. It's the same as any other ground. We all know that. But very good kicking game so far from North. And they do have a luxury with Ray at the dummy half position where he can kick as well, and everybody's on side. So it's, it's a ploy that is very good to use.
You did have them measured, did you?
Mate, they're to the nearest centimetre.
Now the Bears, promising start for them. Continuing to move along nicely, fairly, just outside the quarter. Here's Snowden.
And out for Florimo.
Snowden. Now Moore gets inside the quarter, but they've used up 5 tackles. There's Ray down the blind, so he's going to try it again. And again, Belcher is there. Can he get out this time? Yes, he can. Only just in the field of play. Kicker Ferguson comes away from dummy half.
Now Lance. Yes, well, as this Canberra forward pack, well, now they've taken it out among the backs, but Johnny Croucher, what do the footy tab people think of this one?
Well, Rex, we've got $19,000 in the dividend pool in this match, and you won't be surprised around Canberra are very, very hot favourites. They've got nearly 80% of the entries in this match. That's very high. More than half of those think there's going to be a winning margin of at least 12 points. And I guess it is hard to go past Canberra. The footy tab computer says Canberra 20 to 24, North State to 12, Rex.
Thanks, Johnny. Well, of course, stranger things have happened. Rugby league history is dotted with major upsets. This could be another. North has started very well.
And Collins with the restart. And here comes Todd. As Timmy Sheen watching his side go round, talking to him earlier.
2 balls on the field at the moment.
As Timmy Sheens was saying that was delighted with their form last week, but every game's a fresh one, as we all know. Here's another North Sydney penalty. And that's Todd, who's been spoken to.
Well, I think that's a fairly legitimate type of penalty. He's claiming that Todd grabbed the marker there and wouldn't allow him to proceed after the football, after he'd played it. So it's something I've been looking for referees to do something about.
What an opportunity now for the Bears. Inside the quarter. Snowden. Adrian Toole. Back to Snowden again. To juggle it. Fuller in a bit of trouble. Through. Used up 3. Inching their way closer, the Bears. Snowden. count now. Snowden again. A little kick ahead. The ball is loose. And, oh dear, Martin got it, but only just.
Yes, a neat little kick there by Snowden. Just a little toe poke straight through it. Ricocheted off Mal Meninga and off Martin. Martin then regathered, but Kelly Egan was there very, very quickly and put him down with a good tackle in goal. So the line drop out will be the restart of play. North Sydney get the football back. And it's all North Sydney in this opening stanza.
Indeed. Pressure not off the Raiders yet. Ricky Stewart with the restart. That's a good drop kick too. Well over halfway. MacArthur. More. Still able to offload back for Ray. Now he's up the leak up with Florimo. Florimo running strongly and pulled down only about 5 metres short of the line. So golden opportunity now for the Bears. Snowden across for Fulliger. Back it comes for Pat Jarvis. Off it loaded to Snowden again. 8 metres away. Here comes Toole. Takes on the big Canberra forwards and gets so close to the line. Ray dummy half to Snowden to Fulliger. Across to Fairley. Able to get through from one. And keeping it alive magnificently. Here's Kelly Egan. Looks for support from Florimo, who went without it. Egan's been able to pick it up again. But now it's still got one tackle to go. Florimo's in trouble. He's hurt himself. Tony Ray with the kick through. And Ricky Stewart's able to fall on it for the Raiders. In back play, we've got Florimo down being treated. He has not moved after going without the football. So there may have been an incident involved. Penalty now to the Raiders. Florimo certainly didn't have the football, but has not moved from that spot.
A suspicion there of... well, he was certainly belted, but I don't know whether it was a legitimate tackle or not. He didn't appear to have the football at that stage. He had his back to us.
Well, he's come to the sideline. They're going to give him a rest anyway. As Todd brings it up to the halfway mark. Conlon is on there for the Bears to replace Florimo. Lazarus wrestles his way over the halfway line. Now it's back for Clyde. 10 metres inside the North Sydney half. Stewart, O'Sullivan. Conlon across there for it. If the ball beats him and Chicka Ferguson over the touchline.
So they say that Florimo was just winded on the sideline. He took one in under the ribs from Meninga. 21 tackles in the opposition half for the Bears. They haven't been able to produce a try. They've got close a couple of times. It's exactly what they need to try and ignite something of an upset here. Eddie Ward, very direct today. Wanted that scrum back on the mark.
Yeah, not leaving any doubt that the Canberra side were pushing towards the sideline there. You saw the direction of the arm swing.
No score in this second semi-final of the Challenge Cup. North and Canberra. Derek Smith. And Tony Ray. For Billy Moore. Kelly Egan. Dummy. Meninga. Grabs him by an arm and pulls him down. They've got to be tiring, Canberra, Peter.
Well, Graham, they've had to do a lot of defence, and even though Norths haven't been able to cross the line, this may count in the last 20, 30 minutes of the game because it is still very warm down here.
So the Bears trying to make sure they're either close or just in front by the half-time break to really put the pressure on this Canberra side in this semi-final. Belcher. Ferguson. Beats one. He gets out to the 22. Dean Lance. They get a chance with the football now, Canberra. For some, they will be able to... I was going to say relax. Fulliger's kicked it through. It still falls loose. Belcher's there. It's still loose. Stewart gets back. taken in goal.
Yeah, Stewart had to do a mending job there pretty rapidly because Canberra were in all sorts of trouble with a loose ball being kicked through here. There was Coyne going down for it, missed it. It was kicked through past Belcher, and little Stewart there was able to dive on it, but he was forced back in goal right beside the goalposts. So the line drop out again, North Sydney to get the football back.
It was all-out attack by Canberra against Balmain. Now they've just got to defend. Colin is out there for Florimo. Meninga. High, says Eddie Ward. The tackle on Gary Smith. He got up and gave him a pat.
I don't think he thought anything illegal about it, really. I think it was a giant enveloping tackle. It was around the head and the neck. There's no question about that, but there was no malice in it. Now, if we'd have carried our replay on there, you'd have seen the North Sydney player get up and give Meninga a pat on the backside as he walked away.
So just how many tackles can they defend inside their own half in the early stages of a match like this? Jarvis.
Very close to being a forward pass, that one.
Ray away for Soden. They stand flat on a runaround, and the ball is popped up in a good tackle from Clyde. Belcher wanted it quickly, and he wanted it wide. Meninga, he just brushed straight through Soden. You'd expect it. Dummying. Back on the inside for Martin.
Beautiful dummy there.
Todd. Stewart for Clyde. He loses it. Norths are going to come back. But they have to start making it show with all this possession. Moore. Ray got it to Smith, who did well to take it.
Yeah, it was under a lot of pressure there when he took that football.
Soden. Fulligan. French. Back for Soden, who plucked it out of the air nicely. Moore. Back for Fairley. About 5 minutes to go in this first quarter. Moore. Nearly got through the tackle of Meninga and also Clyde. Soden. Kick. To the in goal again. Now Belcher. He's got Egan there. He beats him nicely and manages to get about 10 metres out from his own line.
So the Raiders again have to bring it out from the line. It's been all North Sydney territorially, and they've had all the possession. They've come up trialist so far as Todd is crunched to the ground. Tony Ray has not moved after going in for that tackle. Dean Lance comes away with it. Ray has not moved at all. Florimo, as you saw, involved in the tackle earlier, is back on the field. 5 tackles gone for the Raiders, and Ricky Stewart gets him out of there. MacArthur back on his own quarter line. Got through 2 tackles. Meninga dived at him and missed him, and they kept it alive pretty well, the Bears. Jarvis now. Now they've called for a stretcher for Tony Ray. The touch judge has come on as the Bears continue to raid away via Toole. Ball is loose. Smith has tried to get to it. So has French. French has come up with it. The touch judge is on, and he's stopping play because of the injury to Tony Ray.
Let's have a look at Tony Ray. Well, virtually he was run into by his own teammates. He was trying to effect a tackle on the Canberra player, and 2 of his own teammates came in and crunched him against the body of the Canberra player and then onto the ground. I think that's just a mishap. So Tony Ray leaves the field. His eyes are open. There's nothing dramatically wrong with him, but he's probably feeling a little bit winded or dazed at the moment.
Gary Larson has gone on for the Bears, backing into the second row. Still no score, but it has been all North Sydney. They've come up trialist, though. This Canberra defence really been tested, and they're still going to be tested now as the Bears continue to raid away with Fulligan. 35 metres away from the Canberra line.
Well, that should have been very, very close to a penalty for a shepherd there, I thought.
Moore ran in front of Smith. Now here comes Toole. Tries to give it out argue to Meninga, who stuck to him. MacArthur is dummy half. Away for Jarvis. Now they're 15 metres away from the Canberra line. Can they put a try on the board just before the quarter-time break? The long floating pass for French. Back for Florimo. Florimo looks for support. Larson is there. Keeping it alive well, the Bears. But they've used up 5 tackles now. Inside the quarter, Soden will bomb. Pressure now for Belcher. Can't get to it first. He has it now, though. The North Sydney hand that got to it before him.
Yes, just watch it. It came off a North Sydney player, and Belcher, who was standing, he would have been offside if it had been touched by one of his teammates, was in front, took the ball and came away with it, legitimately.
So they've soaked up some more pressure, these Raiders.
Well, they're absolutely staggering, the amount of work they're doing and the closeness to scoring, but they just can't quite get there.
Steve Martin would be encouraged by the way his side's going to a point, but he would be disappointed that they haven't been able to put any points on the board. Stewart sends it down from MacArthur. It's bounced away from him. He has it now. Thompson is with him. Thompson across field, got inside Coyne. Caught by Clyde. Now Kelly Egan. Now Jarvis. On the blind side. Fairly. Still going. Ferguson's come at him, pushed him over the line.
Yeah, just went a little bit too far then. After he'd beaten a couple of tackles at that point, would have been, I think, good to take the tackle and go down, but he's now taken the odds to it and been driven over the sideline by Ferguson, basically, and the scrum will go down. It'll be a Canberra feed.
Here's O'Sullivan for Daly. He wondered what the football feels like, giving it away to Meninga. And he refuses to go down again, Meninga. Here's Stewart for Coyne. Belcher. Now Ferguson. Todd. They're finding some stubborn resistance from the Bears now. Collins can't even get the football away. Siren sounding for the quarter-time break. So we have a quarter-time score of nothing. Norths and Canberra tied up 0-0. We'll be back live from the Parramatta Stadium.
To probably previews of this semi-final.
Well, they've gone in as underdogs, and I'm sure that, you know, they felt a lack of pressure on them. Probably all the pressure's been on Canberra, and that was shown. They've gone out. They're just going to bust themselves for 20 minutes again here, and they're going to hang in.
All right, well, let's see if Canberra can come up with a decent share of possession in this second quarter. Even though they haven't had it, they're still keen to kick on early tackles in their own half, and a brilliant kick from Ricky Stewart. You will see that time and again throughout this season.
We'll see it again now. It's absolutely magnificent. That's a 55-metre kick, and it's taken play right up on the bounce to the quarter line, and just an astonishing kick from this fellow. He's got very, very accurate kicker.
Now Soden will feed the scrum. He has taken over the captaincy with Tony Ray concussed in that first quarter. Fulliger. Larson.
Some fellow that's with the ball at the moment, Alexander's impressed me in previous games that I've seen North Sydney play. He's only a lanky sort of a boy. Alexander, there he is. Have a look at him. Keep watching him. Just watch the work he does. He gets through a huge amount of work.
Played well against Newcastle. Now Belcher casually flicks it up off his leg. Florimo, a terrific defender, nabbed him well. Daly. Canberra are used to this territory, their own quarter line. Lazarus running wide off Stewart. They haven't hasn't really been able to bust free. Clyde. Last tackle. Stewart. Tries the angle on the main grandstand side. Stays well in field for MacArthur. Now he beats Stewart. Stewart comes back again with the assistance of O'Sullivan. Egan.
He's another youngster they've got from the country, from the Queensland country, I believe, who's got a big future if he just keeps progressing. He had a very good season last year.
Cross tool for Fairley. Going back in for Billy Moore. Knock-ons both ways, says Eddie Ward. First one against the Bears.
Yes, just a pass knocked down there, and the inability to hold on to it at critical times might, in the end, just be the downturn for the North Sydney side, but they're certainly defending admirably.
Well, the Raiders from this scrum should have an opportunity to add to that distinctive call of just 2 tackles in the opposition's half in possession. Meninga away from French. Back in field for Martin. Make that 3 tackles now inside North's territory. Clyde running from deep. Now they start to get something moving forward. Penalty comes their way. He has been very harsh on not letting the player in possession get up quickly.
Yeah, Larson's the player there that was penalised, the North Sydney replacement forward. He held him down, but that move there by Clyde, when a break is made on the Canberra side in the back somewhere or other, that way it was out to Martin on the wing there. I think you'll find that he always loves to come in as the first man received, running either left or right. He comes from very, very deep, and he's invariably in that position to run forward, the first man receive off the ruck.
So 3 minutes into the second quarter comes the first real test for this North Sydney defence. Clyde. Coyne standing blindside. Collins around him. Very well read by Toole. Todd. Stewart wants it. The backs are calling and standing wide. What a pass from Stewart out to Meninga. Must have travelled 25, 30 metres. O'Sullivan. Just the 1 point to break this deadlock. And it goes well wide. So the defence held and was good from the Bears. And Norths will have the opportunity once more to bring it away in possession. And that first real test, they came up looking good.
Weathered the storm admirably, didn't they? So the Bears are 32 out from their own line. Smith will play it. MacArthur from dummy half. Of course, with Tony Ray off the field, who has been the dummy half for the Bears, the organisation might not be as it should be. Soden puts it down towards Belcher. Floreno's got him.
Yes, he's admirable with this sort of thing, the big chase. He loves chasing, likes to get a fellow that's got a bit of pace like Belcher and come at him and strongly bring him down. He's done that 2 or 3 times.
So familiar territory again for the Raiders in their own quarter as O'Sullivan skirts wide. Meninga away for Todd. Clyde couldn't pick that bouncing ball up. Collins put it down initially. So the Bears back in possession inside the quarter. Here's another test for the Raiders. Alexander standing in the tackle, got it back for Smith. Fulliger's there with him. Fulliger gets to within 5 metres of the line before he's pulled down. Are we going to see the North Sydney try at last? Here's Alexander again. No joy for the Bears this time. 4 metres away, working blindside. Back for Fairley. Again, Canberra defence looks good. Soden, the little kick ahead. Belcher and Soden for the football. Belcher's got it, Soden has got him.
Yeah, Yes, that was a complete bit of football. Soden, a little grubber kick through. Belcher was the only man that could retain it for the Canberra side. He does that. Soden retains him. So it's another line dropout. The ball comes out again. Presumably North Sydney will get the ball from the dropout and be back in possession once again.
Ricky Stewart getting plenty of drop kick practice. And again, he puts it over the halfway mark, so he can kick a ball. Now Egan, caught by O'Sullivan. Smith is again dummy half, turns it back for Larson. Just about on the quarter line. Soden, Alexander. Again, they're inside the quarter. Blindside for Moore. And they continue to work blindside. Toole, the kick will be far too big. Score, and we are into the second quarter. We've got a Canberra player flat and he's back on the far side. Looks like it might be Dean Lance, only by the amount of strapping on his leg. O'Sullivan away for Coyne. Now it's back for Bradley Clyde. And Lowry will be the player who will come on to replace Dean Lance. Stewart and O'Sullivan. No way through there. And Dean Lance still being worked on. Belcher. 5 tackles gone now for the Raiders. Back for Stewart. Sends MacArthur across for it. He's got Thompson with him. And Lance is back, and it looks as if he's ready to resume. Lowry is still on the sideline. He might not get on. There's a signal now to Lance to come off, and Lowry's preparing to go on. Traffic policeman there. Now Fairley's got a ball away, which has been put down by Smith and picked up by Ricky Stewart. The little kick ahead. He's been knocked down after the kick. Referee Ward saw it. Penalty to Canberra.
5 minutes.
And 5 minutes in the bin.
Well, this might break the deadlock if they can. Here he is. There was a deliberate shoulder charge by MacArthur on the little halfback who did a little kick into the end goal. It was never going anywhere. The kick was too big anyway. So MacArthur has really got himself penalised for no gain at all, but he wasn't to know the ball was going to stop. So this could give the Canberra side the opportunity to get 2 points on the board.
Well, Meninga struck the ball particularly well when we saw him in Goulburn. And he has a fairly simple kick. It's only, well, he's only 10 metres out. And it's about 10 metres or so outside the right-hand upright.
Well, Peter Sterling, do you think that this moment might be with the young fellow off the field, MacArthur off the field, might be the moment that Canberra can come again?
Well, you know, Canberra starting to work their way back into this game. Probably the most telling factor, I think, of this quarter is the fact they went for a field goal. And to me, that shows that they're having a little bit of trouble busting the North Sydney defence, and they know it.
Here's Meninga. No problems. Struck the ball well. As I said, he did strike the ball well in Goulburn. Didn't kick too many goals. We struggled with 2-0 Canberra over Norths.
So Meninga gets them rolling. It has taken them a long time to get started. About 30 minutes, and Tim Sheens knows he has a semi-final on his hands. Soden all of a sudden gets told he's going to kick off. Done it pretty well, the Bears. Lowry has just got out there and nearly came up with an error. Daly operating close to the ruck. A good run from him. He likes playing at 5'8" or lock forward. Meninga He's getting involved. The message has gone out there, no doubt. Stewart. O'Sullivan. Belcher. Trying to get away from Fulliger. He gives Ferguson a chance outside of French. He steps infield from Alexander. Stewart. Kick. Over the head of Thompson, who was at fullback for MacArthur, who's in the bin. Way too deep and back to the quarter line.
Well, I wouldn't have said it was way too deep. It was about 5 feet too deep from a 50-metre out kick. That's not real bad. I would have thought he would have been cursing his luck there on that occasion. That 5 feet shorter than that, it would have been a great kick.
Gary Smith stands on the quarter line. Toole goes under 4 tackles. Billy Moore. Alexander. Soden. One of the few times they've kicked straight to Belcher. Swung to the ground and strongly by Larson. Clyde. They're trying to pick up the pace, Canberra, Peter.
Yes, well, they're starting to get a little bit of more ball control and a little bit of a flow on. What Norths really have to do now is to make sure they go into half-time only 2 down, or, you know, hopefully in front if they can cross, because the second half, I think all the defence that Canberra's done, it's going to show.
So Fulliger has left the field and Conlon is out there, and it's on the last for Canberra. Stewart. Over the head of Egan. That's not going to stay in play either, so back to the quarter once more. Disappointment from Stewart. He's trying to keep the ball in play.
He's certainly giving it a bit of a welt, because that was a long, long kick. That long kick.
Smith for Moore. Plenty of enthusiasm in this North Sydney side. Thompson. Nearly out to their 40-metre line. Moore. Right in midfield. Smith. Across the paddock and then he straightened. Toole is leaving the field and Jarvis is getting back out there as Soden this time kicks away from Belcher and makes him do some work. Soden's chasing his own kick and he's taking French and Thompson up with him, and he makes the tackle. So good play from little Soden.
And MacArthur, after his 5 minutes in the bin, is back there for Norths. And Lowry crashed to the ground on the quarter line. Stewart and Lazarus. That's it, even in the scrums and penalties. 2 each in the scrums, 5 all the penalties. And the Raiders just with their nose in front, 2-0. And although they've started to get a lot more possession in the last 5 minutes or so, up until that time, it has certainly been all Norths.
Well, there's Stewart again getting the kick in advantageously, about a 20-metre gain. He's enjoying sucking on his mouth guard at the moment. I don't know whether he's got some flavouring in it. It's always dropped out as soon as the play stops.
So the feed.
Come back, Roy, come back. Come back, Roy. Come back. You went back, Keep going,
Scrum on with the feed eventually, and Florino shaking to kick on the first. Crawls along the ground to get to the halfway mark. Here's MacArthur. Runs into Lazarus and Lowry. Smith dummy half. Jarvis has gone without it. O'Sullivan couldn't pick it up. So the knock-on will be played.
Well, this wasn't a great pass. It was up round the shoulder, and Jarvis had every right to have difficulty with it. But as Peter Sterling mentioned some time ago, that was the only weakness in his game, an ordinary pair of hands. He has rectified the situation. I still consider him a very strong player, extremely strong player.
Penalty to the Raiders. Offside play from North, so they want a quick penalty. Kerry Bosted, the North Sydney skipper, not playing today because of injury. Sullivan's able to, at least Stewart's able to find touch about 15 metres or so from the North Sydney line. So with only 3 minutes to the half-time break, some pressure now for North Sydney. Stewart with the restart. Finally giving it away to Clyde, now to Meninga. Wood now only about 12 metres away. Coyne turning it back for Lowry. Collins dummy half. Stewart wants it. Now O'Sullivan. The dummy run around, and O'Sullivan's got an awful pass back, which is eventually fallen on by Meninga.
Yeah, that's not vintage Canberra, is it? They've lost a net loss of about 15 metres and they have to replay the balls.
Keeping it alive, better Lazarus away for Collins. Collins is not getting Ward flat. They're keeping the football alive somehow. It's been picked up by Belcher. 12 metres away from the North Sydney line. Here's Coyne. Now Meninga. The little kick ahead for Martin. Martin's got plenty of pace. No, and he just missed it. MacArthur came across and just made that ball over the line.
Yeah, the Meninga kick, it wasn't a real good kick, but nonetheless it put them under an enormous amount of pressure. The race is on, and just look how close that was. MacArthur, the North Sydney fullback, just knocking the ball over the dead ball line. First class bit of football by him.
So it's still 2-0 to the Raiders. And it's Florimo with the drop kick. Doesn't send it quite as far as Ricky Stewart's been sending it. It's down for Laurie Daly. Kicking on the first, looking for a good bounce. The bounce wasn't too bad, but Daly couldn't pick it up, but the Raiders still have it. Play on, said the referee. They're only 8 metres away. Lazarus pulled down, and the penalty goes to North. Well, the Bears are able to shake that up and come up with the penalty. Penalty coming in the play the ball. He seemed to move off the mark when he played it.
It's really the only error North Sydney's made in the nearly 40 minutes we've had. It was a harum scarum bit of football there. They had the ball and then they lost it near their line, and that was a bit of broken play near their line, so they're lucky to get out of that one.
Inside 60 seconds to the half-time break. Larson. And all those green jumpers around him. And there's the siren sounding for the half-time break. And we have a scoreline of 2-0. The Canberra Raiders over North Sydney. We'll be back live from Parramatta Stadium shortly.
Welcome back to Parramatta Stadium. Third quarter of this second semi-final. Meninga kicks off for Canberra. Nice to have you with us wherever you're watching. 2-0 to the Raiders just over North Sydney, who had some great opportunities in the first two quarters. And the Bears made 107 tackles. The Raiders, who went hardly without any play with the ball at all in the first quarter, 125. Coyne and Moore for either side on 19. Jarvis struggling to his feet. Back for Billy Moore. Currently the word is that Tony Ray is unlikely to come back out. The doctor was concerned about the concussion he suffered. If at all, it might be in the fourth quarter. Charge down, and Fairley regathers and 6 more tackles. A lot of players taking their turn into the dummy half role because of Ray's absence. Alexander. Jarvis.
Yeah, he would not have caught that ball a season ago. He had to grab late for that. Came to him a little bit low.
Billy Moore, bit of room to move as they stood back. Last tackle now as they go inside. Well, I was going to say last tackle. They're going to get plenty more.
Well, watch this here now. Watch the enveloping action by the referee indicates that that particular player was holding on just a fraction too long. It didn't look all that bad a penalty to me.
So Wayne Collins, the transgressor. Smith. Soden. Run around. Who wants it? MacArthur was standing there. He didn't expect it. Someone forgot his play. Fairly. Canberra defence has been outstanding. Moore. The Bears with so much possession, but they haven't been able to cross. Soden switches across the ruck. Now back it comes for Jarvis. Up the middle is Fulliger. But again, there is no way through. Fairley showing the ball for Larson. He managed to get about 4 metres away, and it's the last again. Soden. The bomb. Belcher only has to catch it. Not such a good kick from North Sydney on this occasion.
Yes, the little kick by Soden went just too far, about 4 or 5 yards too far. Belcher caught it very comfortably, and there was under no pressure. So the restart of play comes back to the quarter now because of the diffusing of the bomb in the in-goal area. And the ball has just been a little bit late coming. Here it comes now.
Canberra may have enjoyed a little rest. Todd. Tony Ray has come back sideline. He's in his gear, but he was well and truly dazed. Lazarus plays it back now as they go to their three quarters. Belcher up in the line, the long ball out for Ferguson. The back line was running hot against Balmain. They haven't had all that many opportunities tonight. Stewart relied heavily on his kicking game. O'Sullivan, the coin. The Bears trying to prove just about everybody wrong. Daly. Ferguson with a little bit of room this time. He shapes to kick. Infield it goes. Soden is back there. And Ferguson and Clyde take him. MacArthur straight across the field. Todd takes him. Egan. 32 out from their own line, the Bears. Smith back for Jarvis. He supports him again. Now Soden. Fairley. Alexander. We talked about it late in the game last week against Newcastle, Sterlo, about the way they've got to get Florimo in attack to create some opportunities.
Well, I'd like to see him become involved more in the attack. He does tend to drop out of that aspect of the play. What I really think Norths need to do is to get Soden, Fulliger and Jason Martin when he comes into the game, which is he's on the sideline now, to go to the line. You become a much more effective ball player if you're going to the line, open up some options, and also put the defence in two minds.
Well, we're back with the Raiders again inside their own quarter. O'Sullivan able to offload the coin. And there's a whole swag of Canberra replacements ready to come on. Now Lance. Collins from dummy half. Lazarus putting his boot to the ball and coming up with a good kick.
What a kick forward. That was absolutely magnificent. A great big right foot belted onto the ball there. He got the lovely end-over-end roll, and it just rolled over the sideline about 55, 56 metres downfield. Great stuff.
Yeah, great kick
Who
from
said
Lazarus.
front row forwards don't have any brains?
Not an answer. Now those replacements have gone on for Canberra. There's Phil Carey's out there, Mark Lowry's back again, and David Woods. We'll just check who's coming off. O'Sullivan's coming off, Coyne and Todd all coming from the field. And this scrum
right on the North Sydney quarter. And little Jason Martin packing in a lot. Hey, Sterlo, that might not be a bad thing for you.
No, leave me out of that. I'm one of the glory boys in the back.
Here are the Raiders putting some pressure on the Bears now and taking play up, getting it away to Meninga, taking play up to about 10 metres away from the line. More pressure now for the Bears. Here comes Lance, 5 metres away. The Canberra Raiders, are they finally going to get their act together? The pass back inside for Clyde. 2 metres away from the line. Collins dummy half away for Ricky Stewart. Now Daly. There's a gap for Daly. He's just going to score. The gap opened up and Daly just shot through it. Well, Tim Sheen's trying to look contented there, but I think the anxious few moments he's had prior to that took a little bit of the guilt off the gingerbread. But look at this try now. There's Daly, just rounding his man. He's got the pace to do that. He's an exceptionally fast three-quarter. Good try. Had him stretch. Stewart, the long pass. Out there to Daly. Daly accelerates, takes on Alexander, and is able to beat him to the line. Now, it wasn't from want of effort from him. Alexander's a good defender, but look, he just stayed back a fraction. Now he realises he's got to go. Number 16, watch him. He's doing everything he can. It's a forward against a very fleet-footed back, and he did very well to catch him there, but his initial error was not to move up. He moved sideways. He didn't move forward.
Yes, they only need just a hint of a gap, and players like Daly just straight through it. So the Raiders, after really defending grimly for much of this game, score the first try. Meninga, who had his first shot at goal, was a pretty easy one for him. And now the Bears have grouped, and it'll be interesting to see if they can come back after that initial try against them. Meninga's kick hits it sweetly, no problems. So the Raiders lead by 8-0 over the North Sydney Bears. Now they absorb, well, they put plenty of pressure on the Raiders, I should say, North Sydney, without scoring. And the Raiders, who haven't had an awful lot of possession over this game so far, are able to score the first try. So can they come back again, the Bears? MacArthur will restart. Pat Jarvis is having a spell. Look at that, that's still a telling statistic. 55 tackles to 18. The possession held in the opposition's half. It was a lot worse than that, but it's still quite an eye-opener. Now Woods will play it. It's gone back for Belcher. MacArthur across for it. Carey down there as the chaser. Carey takes MacArthur. The Bears 10 metres away from their own line again. Egan. Martin for Toole. Having a run on his own now, Martin. As we pointed out before, with Tony Ray taken from the field with concussion, there's certainly plenty of players who are having a shot at dummy half. The Bears come up with a penalty. Still, that can't help their cause either, having so many players as dummy half.
No, it certainly interrupts your continuity. Actually, I think Gary Smith has handled it quite well. He seems to be the man predominantly moving into that position. But I suppose to lose your halfback and your hooker probably throws the side out more than any other positions.
Handling error is just about even. Toole with a strong run into Canberra territory. Now they really need to get something started. Jason Martin looks as though his assignment from his coach might be that dummy half position to scoot out of there. Soden tries his hand at it. He's going to have a bit of a battle to get to his feet. He goes back down as he plays it. Alexander wide. Taken by both the centres, Daly and Meninga. Martin, he had shape to kick. There's a gap up the middle. Meninga tries to monster the little man. MacArthur. Florimer, way offside. Paul Martin busted the tackle of Florimer and gets outside his own 22. The dummy from Belcher. Lance. A hint now that Canberra are starting to get their game into order. Stewart. Daly. Carey's in. Long pass. That was at the feet of Ferguson, but he didn't prove to be Pele on this occasion.
No, he did his level best, but he actually had to put a foot out to catch it. Ridiculous, isn't it? You can't really catch anything on your foot, but he did catch it on the end of his boot and kick it over the sideline.
Soden was injured, and Jason Martin will feed the scrum now. Stewart for Belcher. Extra men here. Meninga beautifully away. But that's Bell who has gone out there for Clyde. Back infield for Martin. Beautiful backline play. North Sydney hanging on. Meninga. The entire Raiders outfit lined out here to the left. Belcher. Carey. Forward, said Eddie Ward. He was in good position.
Yes, that was a thrilling backline movement there. Daly getting it away, then a Belcher out to Carey. Carey looked around for Ferguson. There was nobody else there to give the football to. There were no other backs there.
Stewart and Lazarus have a spell now as O'Sullivan goes out there. Now a problem in the front row. Eddie Wood wants David Woods. I think he attempted a throwing the right hand. The Bears get the penalty. Meninga in to ask a question. Jason Martin right on halfway. Toole busted the tackle of Wayne Collins. Jason Martin fairly. Billy Moore had thought he had just about overrun it. Didn't expect the pass. Daly plays it back for Collins. Woods. Taken by Larson and Billy Moore. Driven back a few metres. Sullivan stays on the short side for Lowry. Just about to open it up for the back line. Well, they run it on the last tackle or kick. Belcher's back, O'Sullivan's back. And O'Sullivan will end up with it. Kick out wide. Thompson and MacArthur back there. And plenty of Canberra defences on the scene. Crowd thinking they saw something in the tackle from Bell. And we go down to 5 minutes of the third quarter.
The Bears yet to put a point on the board as Toole comes away with it, caught by Lance. 8-0. The Raiders have it at the moment. A little knock on. As Coyne comes back on for the Raiders. And Collins is coming to the sideline. So Coyne runs out. And I think that's Bell out there being cautioned by the referee. And there was a little incident, just a short right hand or two. It was a little bit rough in the tackle. And Kevin Thompson also being spoken to by Eddie Ward. No further action. The scrum will go down. Looks like Coyne might be doing the hooking for the Raiders. Here's Belcher down the blind. Chicka Ferguson giving chase to it. He's gone past Thompson. And
and Thompson just got there. The ball bounced away from Ferguson, but if it had gone straight, that was a try.
Yes, that was a hell of a race. Ferguson actually made about 2.5, 3 metres on him in a 20-metre sprint. Extraordinary thing, and very nearly got there. Thompson to his better, stuck to his guns and kept himself between Ferguson and the ball. A very wise thing to do.
Well, Chica can still move.
Oh, he can motor. Gee.
So Florimo with the restart from under the post. Back for Carey. As he's always done, socks around his ankles.
Yes, he's got no other way of going around. They go out with them up and they come down after 5 minutes of football.
So the Raiders are about 11 metres inside North Sydney's half again. Here's O'Sullivan and Lance. Back for Woods and then Carey. Carey saw a little gap and has gone straight through it. Looks for support. Coyne was there. Coyne got a pass back inside and they're pulled down about 9 metres short of the line. But he lost it in the tackle, Woods.
Well, let's see. There it is. Woods loses the ball. Yes, he did too. Very good refereeing by Eddie Wood. Not that it was all that hard to see, but there are a press of players around him there.
Now the Raiders, after a very slow start, are starting to look pretty good every time they have the football. Martin ran away without the football, left it behind him, and ran back for it.
Have a look at this. He ran away. He expected his lock forward to pick it up, and then suddenly he said, "Oh, gee, the ball's there. I must go and pick it up." So he went back for it.
Well, that's a rugby union ploy to try and catch the backs offside.
Yeah, but there were no breakaways there to do it. So the Bears have it 30 metres away from their own line. Strong defence coming in from Woods on Fairley. This time Martin puts it straight down Belcher's throat almost. Florimo again is the first man there. Now Ferguson. And Sullivan. Beautifully picked up Wayne. Lovely and beautiful hands on the Bell. Bell's in the clear. The little kick ahead. Martin is back there to try and retrieve it. He's lost it. Bell could score. Bell picks it up and scores. And the Canberra Raiders flags fly high again.
A beautiful try, some superb touches, not the least of which was Mal Meninga's quick hands onto Bell. Now watch it. Coyne, Meninga, the ball barely touched his hands, and Bell was on the fly into a large gap. Up the sideline, a little kick over the top. The ball bounced advantageously for him. North Sydney players, well, slight push there. We won't assume that the referee didn't see it. He must have judged it not to be anything. But as far as I'm concerned, there was a slight push there on Bell. From Bell on the North Sydney player. That Meninga pass there was absolutely superb. I classify that as a Johnny Brass pass. Now here's the kick ahead. Bell still continues this good run, and there he pushes the little halfback out of the way, and I think possibly that could have been deserving of a penalty, but it was a splendid try, little doubt about that.
130 to the runner-up. 14-0. Canberra over North Sydney. May not have been deserving of that scoreline. The last try by the Raiders should have incurred a penalty against one of their players. Big tackle from Woods on Toole. Larson. The smell of the cup final now as the Raiders are storming in, putting plenty of pressure on the Bears. Smith is injured. They've had their share of them in this match, North Sydney. Jason Martin makes it 32 out. Crawls a couple more. French is wrapped up on the last tackle now. The kick straight down the throat of Belcher. He steps more. He steps Larson. He's still going. Great run from Belcher. O'Sullivan. Across Clyde for Stewart. Solid tackle coming in from Fairley. Lance, short blindside, very short. Nowhere to go as Florimo was there. Lazarus. Sullivan standing very wide as first receiver. They're deep. Meninga. Extra men in again. Floated out to Carey. He can't get outside Egan. Stewart along the deck, allowing his players plenty of time to get down there. MacArthur straightens up. Penalty. All night long, he's remained firm in the play of the ball. Peter, the sign of a good side, Canberra, who seem to be able to find another gear when they want it.
Well, we've seen the other side of Canberra tonight, Graham. You know, we know that they're a great attacking side, but you don't win premierships and cup competitions with just an attacking side. The defence has been tremendous, and as you say, now that they're on their game, they start opening up sides with ridiculous ease, and they're just a tremendous all-round football team.
Fairley. More of that tough defence up the middle. The Raiders have got the scrums, only just. The penalty's 10-6 to the Bears. Larson. Final tackle. Ball was thrown well in front of Jason Martin, so it's a handover.
Yes, Martin just knocked this on. The ball touched him on the fingertips, went down, he picked it up on the rebound, but the knock-on had taken place, the propelling of the ball towards his opponent's game line from hand or arm, so a bit of bad luck for him.
Woods regathered that at the second attempt. O'Sullivan, a little dummy, he's gone. Straight through, back in for Collins. It was forward. It just seemed to drift forward.
Yes, the pass there looked a fraction forward. Well, it was more than a fraction, wasn't it? Into Collins from O'Sullivan. A very nice move to be able to pass the ball back the way you've come. When your body's pointing towards the goal at the sideline, is very difficult. He's a master at it.
Fulliger. Can't step Stewart. Martin up the middle. The advantage there of a quick play of the ball. That should just about be a penalty as Woods threw him back. Steve Martin anxiously watching on. French showed the ball once. Fairley. The little chip. Might be way too late, those sort of tactics. Lazarus taken by 3 defenders. Lance for Clyde. Been well marked tonight. They switch play quickly. Stewart was about to think about a long pass, and as he did, he just fumbled the football.
He said a few words as he fumbled it too, as he got to his feet. There was a moment there when he wouldn't have been enjoyed in polite society.
Coyne and Todd have gone back on for the Raiders, and Dean Lance is coming off, and David Woods as well.
Well, Lance needs an accolade. He's played very well tonight, defended particularly well.
This fella's played pretty well for North Sydney tonight as Lance sits down. That's Toole.
Yeah, Toole's a goer.
Now here's Martin. A little kick ahead. Belcher is back for it. One bounce. Can he get back in the field of play? Yes, he can. Only just. That's all you need to do. Ferguson. And Bell gets another couple of metres. Lazarus. Pushes him sideways. Now he's on the 10-metre mark. Good run from dummy half. Five tackles gone, and Belcher shaped to go to his left and then ended up kicking it himself, and MacArthur's made a mess of it by knocking on.
A pity. That's one of the few errors that MacArthur's made tonight. He's been a very, very solid fullback. Unfortunately, there was a slight knock on there. That camera shot didn't show you the perspective. He was facing his opponent's goal line.
Handy position for the Raiders again with a scrum feed. 32 out. O'Sullivan playing at halfback and Stewart at 5'8". Clyde. Todd takes it over the quarter line. Collins back in for Lazarus. Sullivan, now Stewart, then Meninga. Pass that looks suspiciously forward to Belcher. Referee agreed.
Yes, a little bit of doubt about that one. Mal Meninga's pass. You watch the line there and you can see the quarter line looming up, the ball going towards it, so it should have paralleled it. That was to Belcher. Good opportunity missed out there, but nonetheless.
Martin working the scrum for the Bears, and a blindside move. We saw O'Sullivan, of course, play at halfback for the Raiders last week against Balmain and play very well. Peter Sterling is still there, even though Ricky Stewart's playing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an unusual move by Tim Sheens. I suppose a good opportunity to switch them around. But even though Ricky Stewart is out on the paddock now, we are seeing Chris O'Sullivan occupy the halfback role. It may be a good ploy for them throughout the year to be able to change like that.
Now, fairly good bumping run from this fellow. Takes play up towards the halfway mark. Here's Martin. Belcher will end up in his in-goal area to take this. Florimo again, the first man to greet him. In goal passing, and Ferguson is thrown over the touchline. Well, we've seen all sorts of problems occur from in-goal passing before.
Yeah, well, I mean, you've got a rule on this. This is what a referee sees. Now, Belcher's made this good move, got the ball out to Ferguson. Ferguson goes out up the sideline and is dragged over the sideline, but in the tackle by French. Now, there are referees that I would have thought might have penalised him for taking him over the sideline, but that was the correct decision on that occasion. It happened in the tackle.
Martin will work this scrum for the Bears. One against the feed. O'Sullivan comes away with it. Belcher's there. Quick hands, and here's Meninga. And away goes Bell. Bell steps off the right foot. Now back inside for Meninga. Over halfway, the big man. Beautiful passing from Canberra.
Oh, gee, they're a hot side when they're hot.
Just magnificent stuff. Stewart, two dummies in the clear. The pass is there for Belcher. Clever stuff from the Raiders, starting to really run hot. Now a penalty to North Sydney. They certainly needed that because they were being run off their feet.
Well, the replay shows, what does it show? Belcher getting very slowly to his feet, that's all it shows.
I did see a North Sydney player being thrown away by a Canberra player.
Well, that may be. Stewart was the man that dragged him away.
Gee, that was beautiful passing from the Raiders, wasn't it?
Just superb. When they're hot, they're hot. And Meninga's passing is inevitably or invariably superb. He really puts a man in the clear.
Adrian Toole. They've had plenty of possession, North Sydney. Nothing to show at all. Martin on his feet. 10 minutes to go in this semi-final. Nothing at all, as I said. 14-0 to the Canberra Raiders.
David Fairley's been a very honest forward for the North Sydney side.
It falls for Alexander. Now, even though they haven't been able to put any points on the board, they have received the penalties in the third and fourth quarter, 5-0. That's at this stage Martin. It'll grab him behind Johnny Ferguson, who's going to have to play it. Thompson, anchored Ankle taps him. So good chasing from Martin and Thompson.
Well, Ferguson here did a remarkable job. He expected the ball to go over the touch and goal line. It doesn't, so he jinks around and tries to use his enormous acceleration to get away. But there was that good tackle from Thompson, a diving one, and the assist there from number 15, the little guy that's come on, Jason Martin, and he's tackled in his own in-goal area. Line drop out to Canberra. North Sydney will get the football back.
Stewart. MacArthur waiting underneath, off for Larson. Taken low by Clyde. Can they find their way through for a try? Toole. Florimo. I only remember him on 2 or 3 occasions really touching the football in attack. Jason Martin. Fulliger. A dummy half. Billy Moore. Fairly outside. No opportunity to use him. Now they go wide. Alexander. Fulliger attempted a little kick through. It was a miss kick. Belcher. Carey. He nearly overran that in the play the ball. So it's the Raiders looking as though they're on their way for Wednesday night against Penrith. That'll come your way on 10 Sports Action at 8:30. Ball put down by Coyne, taken by French. We look forward to your company wherever you're watching. Those Queensland viewers who would no doubt be happy that the Broncos put on a big display last night against Canberra. Terrific win for them. Martin. Fulliger. French. Florimo. The kick for Thompson. It's not going to stay in field. It's about 7 minutes left in this semi-final. Jarvis makes his way back out there. Coyne is struggling to join the scrum. He won't make it in time. He'll go down without him. They'll have time to recover. Sloppy pass out from O'Sullivan for Stewart. O'Sullivan. Belcher. The stop and restart was magnificent. Back in field beautifully for Ferguson. He just couldn't find O'Sullivan. This is where they're dangerous. A quick play of the ball. They'll spin it wide. Lazarus. Collins. Meninga. Looking for a short ball for Clyde. He puts him into a little gap. Back in field for Bell. They're struggling to regroup North Sydney. Stewart. Lazarus. He's got Meninga. He can't get it to him. He throws it out the back for Collins. He knocks it on. So they'll come off the boil. And Coyne has come from the field, and David Woods has gone back out there for the Raiders. About 6 minutes to go.
Well, Coyne will only have a few days to get himself right for this final Wednesday night. And 5 minutes to go. I can't help but be impressed by Belcher, the way he's perfectly balanced and can step off either foot. Beautiful.
Yes, well, he's playing like an international fullback. He's hit this 1990 season in absolutely superb form. And I've got my eye well and truly on him tonight. I can promise you he's playing superbly. But he is a great player. The great advantage for the Canberra side, when you look at them, they've got a lot of very good players, but when you've got a man of his pace at the back that can be injected into a three-quarter line that's as hot as that one is, it really is astonishing just the things he can do from time to time. He's a very good player.
Well, Meninga having an early night, and Collins has gone back out there. Billy Moore knocking that football on, which is the reason for this scrum, worked by O'Sullivan. Now here's Stewart playing at 5'8". Carey. Bell almost through. And here's a penalty to Canberra. French came in.
Even give them a go at the moment in their present form is the Penrith side. And that's the one they're going to be playing in the final. And I'm not saying that because I'm a Channel 10 man, I'm saying it because I'm a rugby league man.
I have to agree with you. I think that it'll be a terrific clash Wednesday night.
And I think the Panthers will stick it right to them. I'm not suggesting they'll win it at this stage, but let's wait and see what the teams are.
Well, here's Egan. Pulled down 35 away from his own line. It's that clash in the forwards Wednesday night. Should be terrific.
That's got to be a real good one, yes. Guy hit form the other day.
That's right.
Cartwright into form. Cartwright.
One game under his belt.
Yes, he got through the game without any stupidities.
Peter Kelly, of course, is playing himself back into match fitness. Should be terrific. Now, here's the Bears. They're not done yet. MacArthur's chimed into the back line. He got by Belcher. MacArthur's still going. Found Martin there. Martin's looking for the line. Got a pass away, but it's been picked up by Chicka Ferguson.
Well, that's a little bit ironic, isn't it? We saw some absolutely superb football here. There was MacArthur spinning on the pivot there, giving it away to Jason Martin. Martin went very, very close to scoring through the pass. And who was there to catch it? Chicka Ferguson, Johnny on the spot.
Just 11 metres away. Well, Steve Martin would feel reasonably pleased with his side. Although they haven't got a point on the board, they have shown that they're going to be very competitive this year.
Yes, of course, 20-minute football is a different proposition to 40-minute football.
Sure.
But he's got every reason to have a lot more hope than other coaches at North Sydney have had in previous years.
Now Sullivan's kick for Martin. Swivel out of one. He finally laid to rest about 30 metres away from the Canberra line. Fairly got a pass back inside. MacArthur playing it. Now here's Florino. And out for Egan. Martin. In fact, that was Larson, not Florino. They do look very much alike. Of no consequence anyway, because the full-time siren sounds. Timmy Sheens will feel pleased to see that his side is into the final of the Channel 10 Challenge. After struggling for the first quarter, when they really were under pressure, the Canberra side has come out winners by 14 points to 0. Tries scored by Daly and Bell, although the Bell try was a controversial one. Meninga, 3 goals